hardcore class full of student journalists.
Our class is run basically like a newsroom.
We pitch story ideas and decide what content we want to make.
Sometimes they're kind of weird. What do you mean?
We're making content by us, for us.
And this is all student produced.
And welcome to Wildcat Media, Episode 5. Neon lights, loud music, and delinquency are sometimes associated with the hardcore music scene, and in this first story, we aim to shed some light on this unseen underground community and show that it's more than just meets the eye.
Acceptance?
Hard. Lost a friend and I went into like a deep music hole, and when I finally started to rediscover new music through Bandcamp, hardcore punk was like what I really got into. And then upon moving to Springfield is when I really got into heavier, more like strictly hardcore oriented music. And so music is just a really sentimental thing to me, and the friends that you can amass in any community, let alone a community like hardcore, is like immense. I think especially with people learning about it through social media platforms like TikTok, they conceive hardcore to be all about like beating people up, hurting people, acting hard but not being hard, and I think it's quite the opposite. The vibe of a show is very important in understanding where everyone else is at. Community hardcore is all about finding people that have similar interests and as you, fostering friendships, fostering relationships, starting bands, just having a good time as a subsect of a community.
It's about, I don't know, again, growth, I guess, and developing new relationships and talents and doing music when I never thought that was something I'd ever think of doing. You shouldn't be scared to go to a show because everyone loves everyone.
I just love downtown Springfield. It's awesome down here. They have a lot of underground shows, and stick it in your ear right here. They have a lot of different types of music, but they have a good selection of underground, so it's cool to talk to those guys. I love being a part of it. I like being different. I don't like being like everybody else, so I feel like I'm a part of something a little bit bigger than myself. And I just love underground, man. All I can say is I love metal. If you like being, be different, don't be like everybody else, be yourself. And if you like different things like underground music or underground horror or whatever it may be, if you like it, like it. Who cares what everybody else thinks? Be yourself. That's all I gotta say.
Changing gears, our next story is about drag racing, more specifically, how it's made. Sam and Trent visited some professionals to get an insider look on how they manufacture engine blocks.
A popular hobby in southwest Missouri is drag racing. But what many people don't know is what goes on inside the cars participating in these events.
We make a billet aluminum engine block for top fuel drag racing. It's a 11,000 horsepower application. It's definitely a very demanding application, and a lot of these blocks get destroyed sometimes before they even make it down the track the first time. This process starts with a 700 pound or so block of aluminum. It's an aluminum forging made of 6061. The first machine process is in our Mazak 700. And from there it gets roughing or a roughing stage, and it comes out of there quite a bit lighter, and it moves on to a second operation in our Mazak I-800 machine. And from there it goes on to be heat treated, and in the heat treatment process it gets hard.
After it gets hardened, it comes back and goes into another machine for a second operation. And after getting closer to a finished size, it goes through the same machine a third and final time, and then moves into an operation which will help the engine block stay in place during final machining and sale.
In the final machining stage, we're machining some of the operations as close as 2 or 3 10,000ths of an inch. So if you take an inch and slice it 10,000 times, we're going to monitor its precision within 1 or 2 10,000ths of an inch. And then so it goes back into the machine for the final machining and gets all the critical surfaces made. It spends another few hours in the machine getting those final dimensions, and it goes through several quality checks while it's still on the machine. And then finally it goes off of the machine and into our final quality process where all of the dimensions get inspected, and we measure about 1,600 measurements on the block before it gets cleaned up and final assembled before it goes out to the customer.
This next story is a very important one. Emma and Keegan went to talk to some professionals about the decline of Earth's beloved pollinators, what we can do to save them, but most importantly, what happens if we don't.
When most people think of the decline in pollinators, they only think of bees disappearing, but they should also think about increased costs of food and medicine.
One thing we've been doing to help with the decline of pollinators is get information out about why pollinators are so important. People think that this is just about pretty flowers and colorful insects. It's about economics too. Pollinators contribute a lot of money to the agriculture industry. For the entire country, for the U.S., it's estimated that pollinators contribute about $29 billion, that's billion with a B, to the agriculture industry.
Why are pollinators disappearing, and what can we do about it?
There's a couple things going on. There's several factors involved. One of them is the disappearance of habitat. A lot of these pollinating insects rely on native plants, and a lot of the species of native plants are disappearing from the habitat. Another big problem is the use of insecticides. Insecticides may be used to kill a target pest on an ag crop, but a lot of times those insecticides have a residual effect of killing a lot of other insects too. So use of insecticides, loss of native plants that these insects need for their habitat are probably the two main reasons that a lot of pollinating insect populations are in decline.
This is not just a Missouri issue. This impacts everyone in the U.S. and beyond.
It's an issue. The decline in pollinating insects is an issue all over the world. Missouri is no different than the U.S., and the U.S. is no different than a lot of other countries. It's just that as native plants disappear, as landscapes change, as the land becomes more developed, some of these things are put into a more of a dire straits. And back to the native plants, that it's a good example. We can still have growth in cities, we can still have all the growth that our economics and infrastructure need, but we can provide native plants through, along roadsides, along in gardens. Wherever we provide native plants, chances are places they didn't have them before. That's habitat these insects couldn't find before. So yes, it's not just a problem in Missouri, but what we do in Missouri will help the bigger problem.
This problem affects everyone, but there are things you can do to help.
Milkweed is the plant, when it comes to bringing back pollinators, milkweed is the plant that always gets mentioned first. It helps with monarch butterflies, it helps with some other plants. But there are other plants. There's like goldenrod, there's asters. These help with bumblebees, these help with other pollinating insects. When you're talking pollinating insects, you're not just talking butterflies, you're not just talking honeybees and bumblebees. There's a whole suite of species, both bees, butterflies, beetles, wasps. So the best thing to do is go to some place like the Missouri Department of Conservation website, and we have information on the different types of plants that help a variety of pollinators, because you want variety. Think of a buffet at a lunch line. You don't just have one type of food there because you have different types of appetite. Same thing with pollinators. You want different types of flowers. So but they provide different types of benefits to pollinators. Now, and I will say, all biological benefits aside, you want something that looks pretty too. You want aesthetics. So once again, that's things like asters, which are purple. They bloom late in the summer, early into the fall. Goldenrod, bright yellow, or late in the fall. Well, late in the summer, early in the fall. So asters, goldenrod, things like that provide color too. So while you're looking for plants that are good for insects, also look at plants that are good for color, for, you know, good for aesthetics, because you can have both. You can have a flower garden that benefits the pollinating insects and at the same time benefits your aesthetic needs.
Halloween came and went, and with that came one of Springfield's most infamous attractions, Hotel of Terror. We got to meet some of the faces behind the masks, so get ready because this continental breakfast comes with a side of screams.
Well, one of the things is you absolutely have to have a passion for it. You need to have theatrics, timing, and you just need to have this aura of intimidation about you that you can just ooze creepy activity whenever you need to at any given time.
I got the job when I was 15. But it's not like just another one of those fun things you can do or whatever. It's a job.
It can be everything that you could ever imagine it being. Sometimes it's the most fun thing you've ever done. Sometimes it's your least favorite thing and you dread it all day coming here. It really just depends on the day.
I like seeing, like, especially buffer dudes that you think were like, hey, they're not gonna get scared. Just watching them scream and then run from you, it's like the best aspect of the whole job.
This is my 11th year, so I started doing this when I was 14. I was raised into it. My family grew up doing this kind of stuff, so I was raised into it.
I started 2014, so this is my 9th season working at the haunted house. I started off as the serial killing cannibal clown, Mr. Rectus Grins. And then because of my British accent, I got upgraded to Jack the Ripper, who you now see before you as this tall mountain of man meat.
The biggest challenge is like doing it every single day for 3 weeks straight. It gets to be a lot. By the end of it, you take like a whole 18-hour nap.
Well, I had a customer bang on the mirror. I got my little squeaky door. I scared him and they fell down like that. And scare people. Have some fun.
I absolutely love it. This isn't a job you do for the money. It's a job you do for the thrills. And boy, do I so love to give people thrills.
And last but definitely not least, isn't even a story, but it's a film by our friends Sam, Ryan, and Caden, where Sam is forced to endure a whole day in the wilderness. And I don't have the words to explain it, so here it is.
This is Sam. Sam is a goober and hasn't touched grass since he was a little lad. Because of this, we have decided to send him into the wilderness for 24 hours. Can Sam bring himself to face his fears? Or will he be brought down in untimely demise? We have provided him with 15 challenges for him to do in order to maintain sanity. In this episode of Wildcat Media, Sam takes on the wild. So without further ado, this is Sam versus the Wilderness.
do the climbing a tree challenge. I found a ladder, which honestly, I feel like I should just climb another tree. If I fall, I blame Ryan and Caden. You know. This is as high as I'm getting. Holy crap. Hello. Next thing I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be making a fire. And for all you guys doubting me, I'll make it with just a stick. So first, what you do is you find some leaves, I guess. Yeah, that works. And then, you know, that. Yeah. That'll work. Oh, it's almost there. Cut the camera. We made the fire. So, yeah. Time for the next challenge. Like, we're gonna go eat a bug. Alright, I tried this rock. We're gonna try to find some little insects to bite on and have a tasty little feast. This one didn't have anything under it, so we're gonna try this one right here. Let's see if we can. There we go. Nothing! Cricket, this goes out to you. If I find you again, I'm eating you. I'm eating you!
Sam ate it.
That is so gross!
You got it, Sam.
Oh my God, I'm not eating it! Ah! I'm not eating it!
Come on, just eat it. Put it in bite. Don't even think about it.
Ah! I broke its leg off! Alright. I might spit this out, guys. Give me a countdown. Give me a countdown.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Throwing up.
Oh. We gotta find another bug, guys. Bottoms up. Ah! Oh my God. Yeah. Legs got in my mouth. So I ate the soup. That was tragic. Ate the bug. That was. I'm not gonna say even worse. It was less. It was better than the soup, if I'm being honest. But you know, I'm kind of hungry out here, and there isn't much. I'm not eating another bug, so I guess I gotta find something else to fuel my hunger. Yeah. Matt, I'm hurting. Oh.